I'm Rodney Billings with BTW Channel 21, your neighborhood network. Joining me is John Wimbish, and John is running for the 9th District. And John, I want to first of all thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for
and
having
of course, I really want this time us together just to be very informative. Especially for voters. So there are a lot of things that people are wanting to know about you. They want to get to know you. So we'll start off by you looking directly into your camera, talking to the voters. Just introduce yourself and tell them exactly who you really are.
Right. Well, my name is John Wimbish. I was born here in Martinsville, Virginia. I've lived here my whole life. I served in the military for 5 years on active duty. Was in Operation Iraqi Freedom from 2004 to 2005. I received 3 Army Commendation Medals, 1 for valor during combat. Decided to come back home after my time in the military. I did some various jobs. I sold cars and now I sell insurance. Very interested and concerned at the same time for how things are going in our country right now. So I want to get involved. And the way I look at it, I served one time, and I'm ready to fight and serve again and help the people of our district and really want to work hard and do the right thing. And that's what it's all about. Right now, everybody has such a bad opinion of it. But my family's very supportive. My wife's been extremely supportive of what we're trying to do. And we know it's an uphill battle, but it doesn't have to be. With the things that I stand for, as we'll talk about later on here in the show. And we just ask it if you do support what we're talking about, what we say, that you show your support, and go to my Facebook page and help us out as much as you can, because it really is a grassroots effort. And, I've made this decision to run just to help the people. When I look at my children, sometimes I'm just extremely scared for them in the future that is ahead for this country. And I think everybody is right now. When you watch the news and all the horrific things that's going on, we need to band together. We need to work together. And that's really what this campaign is all about.
So, in a nutshell, and you don't mind me calling you John, do you?
No.
Because from what I gather as we talk, you just seem to be down to earth. So I'm going to call you John. So tell me, John, the area that we're talking about is the 9th District, and some people that live in our state may not even really realize where the 9th District really is. So let's explain to people exactly where that 9th District is, and what area that we're talking about of the state, and let's go from there.
All right. Well, the 9th District is actually one of the largest districts in the state of Virginia. It's actually the size of New Jersey and has over 700,000 people in the district. It's extremely enormous for a congressional district to be that size. That's a very big responsibility. The district here in Martinsville and Henry County has actually been split through the years as they go, and what's been called gerrymandering and creating a district for them.
But John, what you're telling me is this is one of the largest districts, and we're not talking about a district that is close to Richmond or Winchester or on the East Coast. We're talking about the foothills of Virginia.
That's right.
So
it stretches. It's all the way from here in Martinsville. By the time you get to Axton, out in that area, that's a different district now. But from Martinsville all the way over Patrick County to Radford to Covington, and all the way out to the end of Virginia to Bristol, Pennington Gap, and it's a huge area.
And how many people are we talking about? Almost 800,000. Are we talking about?
Over 720-some thousand people.
So that is a lot of voters.
It is
a lot of voters. What do you think is their main concern now? The voters. What are you hearing when you go out into the public?
A lot of people that I talk to, and with me not having the financial backing of a Republican or Democratic candidate, obviously creates a bit of a problem. But I've really taken to social media, and people have seemed to take that, also and reach out to me, and I really appreciate that. And I have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/VoteWimbish. Website votewimbish.com. I get a lot of email and messages from people. They're concerned about national security is number one on everybody's mind. Jobs for this district, of course, are very important, and something that we haven't really seen created. And that's something that I know for a fact I can fix. I do have contacts in the business world that deal with economic incentives and getting with our economic development corporations and bringing people together and creating jobs. Veterans care, of course, being a veteran myself, I'm extremely concerned about that. I want to take care of our veterans, and they do deserve that. There are a multitude of things that we can sit here and talk about, and I could go on for hours. But the best way for anybody to find out if we leave something out or you're wondering where I stand on it is to go to votewimbish.com, click on the issues, you'll see everything right there.
Okay, votewimbish.com.
That's correct.
Last name is W-I-M.
B-I-S-H.
B-I-S-H.
That's right.
Okay, and they can also follow you on Facebook if they type in write-in John Wimbish.
At the Facebook page itself, when you look for it, it's facebook.com/votewimbish.
Okay.
At the time, we were trying to get all of the petition signed that we needed, and that didn't go so well. And it's not because people don't like me per se. I'm sure there are people out there who don't like me. There's people who don't like you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a long list. There's a long list. But it really is. It is a big effort. It is a huge effort to try to get all those names listed on the petition. I mean, it really is for anybody.
It takes hundreds of people to do it. Our incumbent, Morgan Griffith, from what I've been told, I don't know that it to be true, but he had over 150, close to 200 people helping him, and you need 1,000 signatures. And in this day and time, I personally would walk the streets. I had about 10 volunteers helping me. We all have jobs. I have a job. It's hard to get out and do that.
Yeah.
And people are afraid to open their doors nowadays,
Sure.
especially later on in the evening if they don't know you.
Sure.
And we all understand that. We harbor no ill feelings toward anybody that doesn't want to do that, or
Right.
they don't want to sign a piece of paper that goes to the government, because people right now don't trust our government, and how can you blame them?
So let me ask you this. Are you getting any negative feedback when people say, well, John, tell me, are you a Democrat or a Republican?
I don't get a lot of negative feedback, to be honest with you. A lot of people think that they have the best answers and they know everything, and that's part of something that I don't want to do. Is I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a professional at every level of every step of government, because I'm not. There are things that I know more about than others. When it comes to energy and how to make our resources better, I'm not going to act like I have all the answers for that. But as a veteran and somebody that worked in law enforcement, I am more educated in that area, and I think that's where politicians need to stop acting like they're so proficient at every single step of government. You need to be able to take a step back and listen to people, and when you collaborate and you create a dialogue with everybody, you can learn more. And that's really what's happened, is even though someone may disagree with me or I disagree with them, it doesn't end in a terrible conversation or calling each other names or any of that. It's, I've talked to Democrats that like some of the things that I say and they don't like other things I say. And then by the end of the conversation, we've somehow worked out, a happy medium for everybody.
Do you feel like that part of the reason that you don't get such a negative feedback is actually you don't have background as being a politician? Right. Sometimes when you have a background of being a politician, or you have served, a certain district for a very long time, you kind of fall into the groove of, he's a politician. Right. You're not falling in a groove of a politician.
No, and that's because I'm not a politician. I don't claim to be, don't call myself one.
But we've talked about this before, John. It doesn't take a politician or even a lawyer to represent a district.
Right.
It takes someone with common sense, and that's something you think maybe we lack in Richmond?
It definitely is. It everywhere, whether it's Richmond or D.C., the politicians we have are now career politicians. This is what they want to do for the rest of their life, and it's because they get rich from doing it. So of course that's a problem. And in D.C. especially, serving in the House of Representatives, they want you to have a mindset that you have to be a lawyer to do this because they're lawmakers. But most everybody that is a good person, a fair-minded person, and you have common sense, you can read these bills. You can help create laws that create a better environment and a better country. It doesn't take a lawyer to make all this happen. Good people with fair-minded individuals and have good values can do good for our state and our country.
Right. Now, between now and November, we're going to do multiple shows here at the Neighborhood Network, and we're going to share those on social media, and we're going to share them on different websites just so people can get to know you. Hopefully by the time November rolls around, they're going to know you and know exactly where you stand on so many issues that when they go to vote, they're going to click right in for the 9th District and type your name in. Some people would say, oh, John, you got a slim chance here. But that's not necessarily true because this has actually happened before.
It has happened before. Even in 2006 and 2008, there have been write-ins that won at the House of Representatives level, which is what I'm running for, and for Senate. And write-ins have won. It's not impossible to do.
Right.
Obviously, financially, it's very tough to do. But if you put out a good message, if you stand on your beliefs, and people want you to represent them that much, then they will vote for you.
They'll vote for change.
Exactly. And right now, that's what we need, because the way that things are going, nothing's changing. Things are continually getting worse. In this district, we've seen things continually get worse. We've seen, an economic decline. We've seen jobs leave and no jobs being created. And the question is why? And the only answer that I can find is, it's just too hard to get on the phone with people. It's not that hard.
Right.
All you have to do is pick up the phone and call people.
It's
but guess
communication.
What? We talked about this last time. When you're a member of the Republican or Democratic Party, your job is to be a fundraiser for that party.
Right, right.
And so 50 to 60% of your time is spent raising money instead of being out in your community, out in the district, talking to people, going to businesses, working with economic development corporations.
Right.
You help grow existing business and bring new business here into this district. And Martinsville and Henry County is a great place for business and has been for a long time. And we've seen that decline, but we can bring it back. If everybody would work together, it's not that hard. All you do is pick up the phone and make a call to help, not pick up the phone and make a call to raise money for your party.
Right, right. I was kind of looking at your website, and I was looking at your social media site, and it kind of sticks out to me in the media world. This really took me by surprise that you're kind of against the larger corporations. You're kind of against the norm in Richmond, even to the point where you really want to limit the term, which means you're limiting your own term, right?
Right. And I believe that the American people have had enough of career politicians. I think that everybody can see exactly the direction that both parties are heading in. And that's the thing that I'm asking people to really take a look at and see is when you look at your representatives, or whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or you're an independent or you just don't know who to vote for, look at what they stand for. What are they going to do? What are they saying that they're going to do? Hold them accountable for what they do. Don't just vote Republican because you are one, or Democrat because you are one. This next election in November, and I've been saying it for a long time, is probably one of the most important elections our country's ever had. And it's really going to change the direction of this country and how safe we are going to be. And that is the thing that concerns me the most. There are obviously tons of other issues that we could talk about, vote on and everything else. But for me right now, when you look at what's going on, the protection of the American people and our police officers, our emergency personnel, is number one on my mind right now.
Okay.
And if everybody just needs to stop and think about what they're doing and realize that these career politicians don't have the same mindset that we do right now. They're not that concerned about this. If they were, they'd step up and do things to stop it. That's what the House and the Senate are for. They step up and they stop what the president's trying to do that they think is wrong. They bring help. They get out and do the right thing. I haven't heard anybody say anything about what's going on lately. Here in the state of Virginia, I haven't heard our representative say a thing about what's going on. In fact, at the attack in Dallas, I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning that night, watching what was going on, sitting at home. Couldn't believe what was happening.
Right.
I wanted to see the outcome of it. I was posting on Facebook, and it took our incumbent until 6 o'clock in the evening the following day to even say anything about it.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
it's, they're too afraid to stand up for what's right. They're too afraid to stand up and say what needs to be said.
Why is that? Why is it?
Because they're going to lose their cushy jobs. That really is all it boils down to. When you can become a millionaire being a politician, why would you stand up and say anything that might make somebody angry with you?
Makes sense.
And it doesn't bother me if somebody gets angry with me. I'm going to say what's right. I'm going to stand on my Christian beliefs and values. And that's the other thing that's so important is so many people have come up to me and talked about that, and they feel like this government and the way things are going and the way that we're allowing people to act here in this country are pushing Christians to the side, pushing their beliefs to the side, and they're trying to make the Christians the minorities. The Christian population in this country is far and above any other religious population in this country. And we should not have to apologize to anyone else for being Christians and having our beliefs and values, and especially when your country was founded on it. That's what makes this country so great. That's why people wanted to come here, is because we allow freedom and opportunity. You know, you can change your entire life by coming to America. That's the way everybody used to look at it. And now we have countries that are giving their countries orders of, hey, don't go to America because there's too much violence. That's never happened. It's never happened. And when you have politicians that are making millions of dollars, corporations are paying them hundreds and thousands of dollars, to me, that's just wrong. It doesn't make any sense to me. I sell insurance, okay? If I want to serve in the House of Representatives, I can't keep my current job. I would have to quit. Because they say that you're going to do something to make that industry better. You're going to help them out some.
Common sense, yeah.
So I can't keep my job.
Right.
But yet I could take money from the same company, and it could be whatever amount they want to give.
Obviously, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. And that's what these politicians are doing.
Do you think these politicians, a lot of times, they only use the religious card when election rolls around? That they don't even use the word Christianity or claim to be a Christian until election time rolls around?
That's exactly right. And a lot of them do that. You know, and everybody knows this, and it's been happening since before I was born, obviously. And it's something that it is important to people. They want to know where you stand. I have had people, you know, send me a message and say, you know, do you believe in Jesus Christ? Is he in your life? Do you believe in all? And of course I do. I was raised in a church. You know, both my grandparents were pastors since before I was born.
So you were teething on a pew,
I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
My grandfather was Dr. Charles Wimbish, who was an eye doctor here for over 40-some years, and he did a lot in the community with you know, helping people, ministering to people. He had, you know, one time he had inmates that used to come in on like a Wednesday when they'd be closed, and he'd help them and give them glasses and, you know, free exams. And, you know, so I grew up in that, and I was ministered to a lot. And even when I was in Iraq, I would call him and we would talk and we'd pray. And, you know, I'm like everybody else. I'm not perfect, but I believe in God, and I believe in our Christian beliefs and values. And part of having Christian beliefs and values is this too. We don't have to hate other people because they believe different than we do. We don't have to have any ill will or feelings towards people because, you know, they may be a homosexual nature or live differently or, you know, not believe the same things. Part of being a Christian is being understanding and caring about our neighbor and helping each other and wanting to create a better environment. And we saw that in Orlando with that shooting, how the community really came together the next day. And it was people of all races and all religions came together. It was no more black or white or any of that. You know, people realize that there's something much bigger here than that. We have a group of people in this country, these radical Islamic terrorists that are here, and they're here to destroy us if we let them. But with the right people in office that you can really count on, and the community coming together, and then supporting your police departments, we can put a stop to this. We're going to have to fight, but you're going to have people that aren't afraid to fight. And, you know, for me, as far as I'm concerned, when you've been in combat and you stare somebody down that's trying to take you out, and there are plenty of other people watching right now that are veterans as well that know what I'm talking about. Once you've done that, then standing up for what's right and telling somebody that they're wrong is not that scary.
It's pretty easy, huh?
It's very simple.
You could even run for a political office, right?
That's right.
So, if you're just joining us, this is John Wimbish, and John is running for the 9th District. Now, John, I really want you to share with some of the viewers some of the things that you find to be very important that they need to know, and some of the changes that you're really wanting to make in the 9th District.
Well, the biggest thing that I would like to do, and honestly, my campaign is not so much about winning as it is just helping to educate people a little bit more. I've talked to a lot of people that, you know, don't follow politics and don't understand what all's going on. Some people don't even know who their congressman even is. First of all, in the 9th District, your congressman is Morgan Griffith. He's a Republican. He raises a lot of money, corporate contributions, as much as he can. Everything that I say about him and what he does is public information. You can find this on my website, votewimbish.com. I have references to everything, links you can click on. You can go to Congress's website and look at his voting record, look at what he does. You can look at all his contributions. To me, in 6 years, he's proven that he is only interested in trying to make as much money as possible. He votes with his party 99% of the time. I'd like to be right 99% of the time, wouldn't you?
Sure.
That's not possible. He serves on the Energy Committee in Congress, okay? And so he has taken in over $250,000 so far from energy companies, but yet then he votes against our environment 47 out of 48 times.
Okay, wow.
So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The other thing that he does that I have an issue with is taking money from companies that are shutting down and leaving your constituents without a job. You know, Norfolk Southern, you know, is shutting down. People in our district are directly affected by that. But yet he didn't mind taking $20,000 from them and whatever else they plan on giving him down the road. You know, I'd have a real hard time looking at a company that's shutting down and leaving my people without jobs and saying, sure, I'll take your money. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. And then you've got BAE Systems that gives them money, and they've been caught polluting the environment at the Radford Arsenal with burning the munitions up there that they make. People have started to get cancer, and it's not proven that that's the cause, but people are expecting that that is part of it with the open burn law that they have right now, and they're trying to get that banned. He's taken a ton of money from them, and that's the thing that I want people to understand is if you don't go fishing for the information, you're never going to find it.
Right.
So you're just going to believe what everybody tells you.
Well, no wonder they don't like you. Because if you're saying that all this is public information, it's almost like they do not want you to talk. So the hard workers out there and the blue collar workers, when they hear you talk this way, they automatically start thinking, I'm going to make a change here in November. Is that what you're hearing when you start sharing this information with the voters?
I've had a lot of people that way.
Does it surprise them?
It actually has in some cases. Like when I was walking the streets and trying to get signatures on our petitions, I had a lot of people that were like, "Oh, we're a Republican household. Well, do you know who your congressman is?" Well, no. Well, let me explain who he is and a little bit about him. And when I did that, they immediately changed their mind.
So you've got households that have been Republicans their entire life, but had no idea who was representing them,
Right.
and had no idea what was going on. And now they're talking to John, saying, "John, you're kind of an independent kind of guy, you know, and you're going to be a write-in." And
Right. And like I said, for me, it's not so much about winning. You know, I want to help, obviously, Martinsville, Henry County, because I'm from here. But I want to help everybody. I want to do the right thing, and that's exactly what I did in the Army. Was you always do the right thing, whether somebody's looking over your shoulder or not. You know, we all make mistakes. Every single one of us does. But it's what you do after that mistake is what matters. And everybody can be a part of change. And I decided one day, I just had this feeling. I was like, I want to do something. Instead of just running my mouth about it, I really want to do something. So obviously what I'm doing to bring about some of what he's doing is working. You know, I'd go on to his Facebook and ask questions. Other citizens are as well, asking, you know, when are you going to bring jobs here? When are you going to do this or that? And asking about certain bills. He never responds to anybody. He's been asked, why don't you respond? No response.
Right.
You know, so I started posting things on there. I had other people posting items on there, and we all got blocked and everything got deleted. So when you're sharing the truth and someone blocks you from doing that, then to me, that shows you everything you need to know.
maybe a red flag there, I guess you could say. So it just seems like to me, if you're asking these questions, you're not getting any answers. Now you really, really want to make a change. So you're getting positive feedback, mostly on social media, but social media is like wildfire. You know, we done a little splash not too long ago, and all of a sudden, that one little splash, people were just like, "Who's John Wimbish?"
Yeah, I got a ton of people to the website and on Facebook, and I really appreciate everybody taking the time to do that. That really means a lot. That's the best way for people to get any information, especially from me with my limited funds, is to go to my Facebook page. I share everything, and I speak my mind. So social media is great.
So if you're using social media, using your website just to reach out to folks, but I'm still not seeing any negative ads though. You're basically sharing public information.
Right. Yeah, and it's hard to argue with the truth. You know, if somebody's telling the truth, it's public knowledge. It's really hard to argue that. And from what I've seen so far, Morgan Griffith has not had any rebuttal to anything that I've had to say. They didn't mind taking the time to block me and delete me, as well as other people.
Right.
But he hasn't had anything to say, including about the Democrat that's running. You know, not even rebuttal anything that he's had to say. Now, we've got a Democrat that says he's going to protect the Second Amendment right, you know, and your right to own a firearm, but then you have Democrats screaming, gun control and gun reform, so I don't know how that's really going to work.
Right.
You know, if people want to vote for him, he says that, but when he gets to D.C., what's really going to happen?
Right.
You know, I believe in the Second Amendment, and everyone has a right to protect themselves, and I'm not going to take that away. I want to protect all Americans. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. We're all Americans. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all God's children. We should all be in this together.
Are you hearing from the voters that they are tired of politics as usual? They're tired
absolutely.
They're tired of you know, people that want to be a professional politician. So when you talk about this short term, how long were we talking about? 4 years?
6 year, it'd be 3-term, 6 years.
6 years. That's it. After you serve 6 years, you should be done.
I think you should be done.
That's what you believe.
That's what I believe,
So
and that's how I would run.
if you get in yourself, you're limiting yourself to just 6 years.
6 years. Well, because the level of corruption's there. You know, you can't tell me you can serve 10, 20 years and not have to deal with any corruption. You know, and there's always going to be somebody that's, you know, smarter than you, more intelligent than you, just as driven as you, that wants to do good and can pick up right where you left off. And that's what we need, is people that care about our national security. You know, want to help our military. The military needs better pay. Why not find a way to give it to them? Control DOD spending, get that out of the way. Help our veterans with their health care, because the VA system right now is not doing what they're supposed to do, and we need to figure out why. Let the veterans seek private health care for 2 years. There are a multitude of things that we can do, and there's always somebody that's going to be there to pick the ball up when you leave, that's going to continue to do the good work. But if you stay too long, people are going to bring immoral things to you. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Unfortunately, as we've seen before.
Yeah. Well, our time, it's unbelievable how fast our time has gone by. So what we're going to do for the next minute or so, I want you to look at your camera and talk to the viewers, talk to the voters, and tell them how they can vote for you. Tell them why you're running.
Well, as I've said a couple of times, I'm all for our military. We've got to have a strong military. I want to support them. I want to give them better pay, not just $20. They just gave them a raise of $20. What good is that? We need to entice people to want to serve and continue to serve. So support our military, support our veterans. Let them seek private health care for the next 2 years. We need better health care. Obamacare is extremely too expensive for our families. They can't afford it. I haven't spoke to anybody whose premiums went down, and then we're subsidizing them with $59 billion of taxpayer money. The taxpayers deserve a break. Families deserve a break. You know, there's no maternity leave for women in this country. 88% of women go without paid maternity leave, but Mexico offers 12 weeks of it. You know, America can do the exact same thing. We're just spending money in the wrong places. And that's what I want to do. I want to get in, investigate what's going on, help the VA, help the DOD, help everybody as much as I can. But most of all, in this time, in this day and age of violence that we have right now, the biggest thing that I want everybody to understand is we've got to come together. We have to work together if we want to see anything change, if we want there to be peace. These hate groups have got to be we've got to stop them. You know, there are laws that protect us against that. We need to let the police do their job and support them in every way that we can. And I do, and I know there are a lot of other people that do as well. Everybody just work together and understand that we can create change. If we all band together, form a united front, get behind a politician that you really believe in, politician, statesman, whatever you want to call them. Get behind somebody that you know is going to do the right thing. If we are all united, we can't fail.
All right, just real quick, John, if people want to follow you, it's pretty easy. They can basically Google your name, John Wimbish, actually, write-in candidate for the 9th District. They can also follow you on Facebook.
Facebook.com/VoteWimbish and my website, votewimbish.com. If you're not a registered voter, please register to vote. This is the most important election that this country's ever had. And whoever you're voting for president, who cares? People in the House and Senate could stop crazy things from happening, okay? We've all seen voting for president, how that works out. Register to vote on my website. There's a link there. You can do everything online. You don't have to go to the DMV. I've got tons of information on there.
Great. We appreciate all the information that you've given us, John, and we appreciate you joining us here on the Neighborhood Network. We will continue to bring you more updates, and we'll meet with John at a later time, and we'll continue to post those on social media and here on BTW Channel 21, your Neighborhood Network.
The all-new Blue Ridge Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Martinsville is different. How, you ask? The best price is clearly marked on every vehicle in stock. There's no haggling, no hassle, no negotiating. That's right, our sales team will help you pick the car that's right for you, not the deal that's right for us. Plus, with our guaranteed credit approval system, you'll drive home today in your new car during the Drive and Discover event. Only at the all-new Blue Ridge Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Martinsville. Cross from the Speedway on Greensboro Road or visit us at theblueridgeway.com.